That's how you ultimately ended up here.
Obviously Coach Warren made the decision to go to Tennessee, and fortunately for me, I had a lot of relationships with guys on the staff. Me and Coach Papuchis worked together numerous times at LSU and Nebraska, and Coach Porter, I worked with him also at Nebraska, and I've done a lot of the Manning Passing Academies with Gunner. So I knew a lot of people, and me and Coach Fedora kind of played phone tag a few years ago when we were both, he was at Southern Miss and I was at La Tech, and then just a dream of mine to continue working with great defensive minds. So I worked with Coach Chavis and Bo Pelini, and now to work with Coach Chiswick. It's a dream come true.
What do you see on the current roster in terms of defensive backs and what you can work with next year?
Well, obviously, I think it starts with MJ. I mean, he played well last year. He's an NFL corner. He can go inside and play nickel. I mean, he's prototypical guy that they look for at that level. He can cover, he can tackle, he plays the ball down the field. Donnie Miles put up some good numbers last year, but I think the best thing about the group, besides those two, is how young they are. I mean, they're young and they have skill sets that you can put them together and have a great secondary.
How much film from this past season of the group have you seen?
Well, getting hired really takes a long time here. So I had a time to watch about 4 or 5 games while a lot of the guys were on the road. So it was really good that I can, sit in the room by myself, not anybody telling me who's who, and just watch and watch everybody with an open mind. And then also watched about 2 weeks of training camp where I can get a feel for the guys who didn't play in the games as much.
How helpful is that to kind of be able to watch guys and make your own opinions on people without knowing exactly who they are and have that preconceived notion?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that my cousin he just became the head coach of the Broncos, so me and him were both going through the same thing at the same time, and so at night we were talking about watching personnel with open minds, and it gives you an advantage because now when you talk to the other guys, you can kind of look back and compare your notes, and then also as we're going through all season program and get towards spring ball, and you can kind of see how it all plays out.
Were they a specific 4 or 5 games? Did you request certain games, or were you able to kind of space it out during the season to see progress with some of the guys?
Yeah, I kind of just picked out some games that I thought were going to look interesting. Obviously with the relationship that I have with a lot of guys, I've watched them quite a bit on TV, following along, cheering for the guys that I knew on the staff. So, but I just picked about 4 or 5 games and kind of just saw the good, the bad, the things that can be improved on, and also things that they did pretty good.
What could be improved on?
We'll see when we start spring practice.
Did you have a role in this class at all?
First thing I want to say is those coaches who are already here, they did a great job of holding it in place, because obviously the coaching move happened quick. Luckily, we replaced it quick, so I got here pretty quick. So I just had to get out and see those guys face to face, those guys in the secondary, and just make sure they were comfortable with me and understanding that the defense was still going to be the same, the program was going to be run the same way because we got the same head coach, just the position room was going to change a little bit. So all of those guys were comfortable with it, and they were able to hold on to all of them.
What strengths do you think you bring in terms of recruiting, geography, and their past history as a recruiter?
Well, I think a good recruiter can recruit anywhere. I always tell people I can recruit just as good in Antarctica as I can in New Orleans. So I'm just ready to hit the ground running, learn more about this great university and the program, and I can get out there and sell it to the kids that it's a good fit for our program.
Larry mentioned that recruiting aspect of it was something that really attracted him to you. How would you just describe your skills as a recruiter?
Well, recruiting is all about relationships, and it's about doing a little bit every day. I've been in some fertile recruiting areas, being in Louisiana and parts of Texas and Atlanta. I'm excited about the opportunity to get down to Florida a little bit more. But I think it's all about developing a relationship and letting the prospect know that you and your university have some ways and avenues to get him where he wants to go. And that's to get a degree and get a chance to play in the NFL. And then set him up for life after football. So when you put all that together, that's when you can really earn the kid's trust, earn his family's trust, and hopefully you can close the deal.
What will your areas be here?
Right now, I'll have Jacksonville, parts of Atlanta, a little bit of the state, and then I'll cherry pick Louisiana a little bit with the connections that I have down there.
So you're taking over pretty much what Warren had?
Yes. Okay.
Who are some of the more notable players that you've coached?
The most notable players, good question. Well, Justin Evans is a guy who I coached at A&M. He was at the Senior Bowl last week. Didn't play in the game because he had a wisdom tooth issue, but I think he'll be a first-day pick in the draft. Brandon Williams was a kid who converted over from running back to corner in June of his senior year, and never had played defense before in his life. And he worked his way up into a third-round pick for the Arizona Cardinals in last year's draft. Then Damian Stafford is with the Tennessee Titans, and he's a kid that I coached over at Nebraska.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
All
much.
right,